Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our 24th annual Victorian Christmas. It's a good thing this day is here because we work all year for our presentations and the tour tomorrow, and so we'd still be burning the midnight oil. But the day has arrived, and we are so proud to have this education series, and it's my pleasure to introduce Dan Ford. I used to drive around in Valemount and Grampian, and I would see his sign in many yards, and I'm thinking, who is this Dan Ford? Because I had never met him, and being a realtor, we usually know the construction workers and the people who are really good in their trades. And then all of a sudden I met some people who worked for him, and they really liked him, and I thought, I have got to know Dan Ford. So tonight you are going to hear him, and he's going to give an illustrated program. And so I am just going to read a little bit about him. Dan grew up in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, with Amy and I met 20 years ago in Philadelphia. And Amy is a Muncie native, and we moved back to this area 13 years ago. We reside in Muncie with our two boys, Nolan and Wyatt. I have been in the trades for 20 years. We started Ford Custom Renovation in 2015 and are currently a team of 13, including myself. That's Dan, not me. We specialize in residential and light commercial remodeling, and now I'd like to introduce and turn the program over to Dan Ford. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you. You hear me okay?
Oh, do you want this back?
No. Can you hear me? Check. All right. Good enough.
Hope so.
Good enough?
No.
It's my first time. How about now? Oh, there we go. Hey, all right. Thank you so much, Nan. Still good? I know a few people that work here, but there we go. Thank you so much, Nan. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Better? Good? Yeah. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Really appreciate everybody showing up on a Friday evening. It's an honor to be here, to talk with everybody, and to tell a little bit about our story, what we do in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and how we're trying to serve the community and serve our clients. A little bit about myself, a little bit more about myself. Been in the trades 25 years. I grew up down towards Philadelphia area. In my early 20s, basically started finish work and cabinetry work, basically around the Doylestown, Bucks County area. And that was my first really experience with old homes, beautiful homes down that way. Loved working down that way. Really good stuff. We got into finish work with a lot of older homes. Then I transitioned into some glass work, which was actually very fun medium to work with. We did everything from glazing old windows on these old homes to commercial work. I got into commercial work for a while, and from there kind of learned the flow of bigger projects and how basically each trade had their position on the job site. Moved out here 12 years ago, got hooked up with a guy named Matt Shower. He's speaking here Sunday. Yes, Sunday at 2, right? Mm-hmm. 2, so come on out for that. But really fun projects with Matt. We got into a lot of recycling materials. Everything we pulled out, we recycled and put back into the building one way or another. So very fun projects with him. After that, we started Ford Custom Renovation with a wing and a prayer. And 8 years later, here we are presenting with you fine folks. So that's a little bit of the history, and I really appreciate everything that appreciate everyone coming out. So let's get started. So preservationists, that's why we're here. That's what we're talking about. And Have to warn you, my pointer does not work, so I'm going to be doing a lot of hand pointing. The screen just kind of eats it up, so that was something I just learned this evening. So preservationists, I mean, basically what we're trying to do with preservation is we're trying to pay homage to the old structures. We're trying to really celebrate these old buildings and to really just highlight the goodness of the old buildings. And so I'm going to talk to you tonight about challenges involved with working in older homes and older buildings. We're going to talk a little bit about the client journey and highlight some of our projects. So let's get started. Challenge number one, what can we do in our space? We hear that a lot. That's basically the vision. When I go out and see clients in their homes, we want to talk about the vision of what the clients want to do in their space. A lot of these older homes are smaller spaces. They're chopped up. So what's the vision that the client has for the space, and how can we get that vision, bring that vision to life? Balancing preservation and modernization. We want to, we want to bring these spaces to functionality. We really want to make them functional for the clients. So we're balancing preservation, and we're also trying to modernize the spaces for the busy families in these homes. First project we're going to highlight. I have a few that we're going to highlight through the presentation. This is a Georgian-style home, Loyalsock area. These clients came to us with a cramped space. Their vision for the space was basically, how can we open this up? We got a cramped kitchen, we got tight spaces, so how do we open this up for their busy family? Once again, I'm missing my pointer here, but so a tight bathroom. We actually ended up pulling this bathroom out. That was their vision for the space. That was actually behind this wall. So we're trying to open this up. We're trying to figure out ways so we can get this space opened up. Now on the other end of it, this is a big space that we did. This is a commercial building, and the clients came to us with the vision of how can we build a loft space, how can we build a space for our house, a space for our family above their business. So really big. This was 5,000, 6,000 square feet roughly. Really raw space. This was 2017. So really fun. This was a good project. They really loved this project. So raw space. This was some of their vision. And I love this, right? Very cool. I mean, it just spoke to me. I mean, with the fireplaces and the beamwork and everything, that this was her vision for the space. A little bit more vision there. Really cool. If anyone wants to build a space like this, please call me. I'd love to do another one. Just very, very fun. A lot of this distressed beam, we actually kind of mimicked that in the space itself. They had a lot of distressed beams, and we followed that look through the project. This is our Grampian house project. This is currently in production. Late 1800s, built by William Huffman. The clients are here this evening, and I appreciate them being here. This was a really fun project for us. Tight spaces. This house was not really well taken care of through the years. Chopped up. It was chopped up in the rental. Just kind of not really taken care of throughout. So basically what they wanted to do was bring it back to single family house. They wanted to bring back some of those old details. This is the front staircase that we opened up. This back staircase here, it's hard to see, but that was really chopped up, added. We don't even know when. That's one of the fun things about these structures is who did what when, right? We're peeling them back. We don't know what happened, who did this, who did that, but very chopped up back staircase that we ended up opening up, but their vision for the space was to get that to be a grand staircase again. We did not keep this bathroom. Actually, this was one of the only functioning bathrooms. We pulled this out, we pulled the top one out, and we have 5 bathrooms on this project. 5 bathrooms, a kitchen, 2 staircases. and we're rounding third on it. So hopefully we're going to be there soon. So a little bit more of the space. One of the main focuses on this whole project was to open up this window and another window. This was basically chopped off by the staircase, the secondary staircase that was added for a rental unit to the third floor. This is the master here, and a fireplace in the master. This is a part of this whole staircase too. This door was chopped up, and it just didn't make sense, very small. So one of the visions there was to pull this apart and get that all in a grand staircase again. Second floor, apartment kitchen area that we ended up pulling out. So the vision there, we actually made a little bit of a kitchenette area for their adult children to come in. They have a space of their own. So, and that's just a little foyer space in the front there with an original door. All right, project number 3. This is a beautiful farmhouse. I mean, this is really nice farmhouse up in Linden. They came to us with basically a vision for 2 bathrooms, 7-foot ceilings in this in this house, and yeah, not very ideal, not very spacious. But these 2 bathrooms are back to back, so we were able to kind of work on both spaces in one project. Their vision for the space was open up the ceiling. The way the house was framed allowed us to do that. It was a balloon frame house, which I won't get too technical, but balloon frame house. So there's rafters that we were able to open up, and we were able to expose the collar ties, which you'll see here moving on. All right, this is a Walnut Street project. Before the paint job, I know there's a lot of people that love the paint and are really checking that out, but they really did a nice job on this house. The homeowners have been doing upgrades through the years here, and they really did a nice job. They just got some, this is before the windows, I believe. Yeah, they just had new windows put in last year. So they came to us with a 3rd floor project. Basically, yeah, there's a lot of raw space here. They wanted to make 2 bedrooms and a bathroom in the third floor space. So they came to us with that and wanted to figure out how they can get that done. This is actually turret area. So a lot of plaster damage here. We got the original chimney running up through the space, which we actually used as a detail. 20-foot ceilings, if you see how high this peak is. And we got some old HVAC that we had to deal with as well. So a little bit more of that space. Creepy rocking chairs in attics. I don't know what that's about, but it seems to be a little bit of a theme here and there. But so very excited to work with these clients, and this was kind of a little bit of a highlight spot for the project that I'll show you here moving forward. And then just some more of that raw space. The winder stairs that were actually accessible from the master, they wanted to get that out of the master. We took some space from the bedroom adjacent and then basically made a hallway with some new stairs. I'll show you here moving forward. This is our Campbell Street project. Gorgeous house. I mean, speaks for itself here with this master foyer. This light we actually changed out. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but I'll show you it was a big deal. This is a library space up top, which basically that was their vision. They wanted to add a tub into this space. They wanted a soaking room where they can read. It's adjacent to the master bedroom. So that was the biggest project on this house, was to get that soaker tub in the library, and that's just fun. I mean, how many times do you get to put a soaker tub in a library that's a 100-year-old and figure that out? So we'll move forward. So the project development process. This is a very important process in our journey for the client. We are a design build firm. We basically guide the client from vision through conceptuals, through construction drawings, through the process. Planning is huge in these projects. We're not just coming in with our hammers and smashing and saying, oh, let's do this, do that. There's a lot of planning that goes into these projects. They're very planning intensive. And we want to talk about level of investment with the clients as well. I don't know if anyone noticed, but everything has gotten a little bit more expensive, right? Groceries are more expensive. Everything is inflated. Inflation's high. Well, so are the costs of construction, unfortunately. So we really have to guide the client with their budget. What level of investment do they want to put into it? Our ideal clients are really looking to invest in their quality of life and not just invest in their house as an investment. So that is a big thing that we try to work with the clients is how much do you want to spend on the project? Surveying and discovery, that's big. We got to go in, we got to poke around a little bit, we got to see what's going on as much as we can. We got to try to anticipate any issues that we might run into. Yes, we're not going to find everything, but we try to do our best to do as much surveying and discovery work as we can before we get in there as well. We want to make sure we're code compliant. That's a big thing. Are we getting things grandfathered in? Do we have to widen staircases? Do we have to do that work? That's very important to figure out as well. So, conceptuals. Basically, we got the vision. Now we want to get that on paper. We're doing our surveys. We're figuring out what we can do. We're working through conceptual drawings with the clients. We're working through selections with the clients as well. Oop, is that you, Nan?
No.
Yeah. Oh, let me take that.
Oh, this. Oh, yeah.
You got it. All right. All right. There we go. Thank you. All right. I'm going to breeze through these. I got a lot of slides, so there's a lot of pictures, I'm telling you. So selections is can you still hear me okay? All right. Selections is a big deal. We want to basically, what are we putting into the space? We have our conception. Now we want to figure out what we're going to do in the space, and it's very important for the overall design. Final construction drawings, we're calling that the plan. That's basically what we're going to do. Got to figure out what our plan is. The clients have to be in alignment with their expectations. We have to be in alignment when we're getting into space. My guys need to know what they're doing, what they're building. So the plan is very big. All right, we got some drawings here, some examples. This is our Grampian project. Looks a little jumbled, but we got some elevations here. One of the bathrooms. You can see how much detail we're going into. We're figuring out what the size of the mirror is. We're figuring out where it's going. We even have towel bars called out for height. So we want to have as much of a plan as we can. And these elevations really help that. Another elevation here with some molding work. Tile floor detail on the right there. Once again, we want to put it on paper as much as we can. That way the client knows what they're getting and what we're building as well. Some elevations for the kitchen. We do all custom cabinetry as much as we can. We have a cabinet maker that we work with in Williamsport. Does a great job with the cabinetry packages. So we try to do as much customization as we can in the cabinets. So no, they're not real pictures. These are renderings. Really, this is a great tool to bring the design to life. The clients can see what the conception are. And this is a good Victorian, right now? So yeah, this is hopefully a Victorian enough. Very cool design. This is our one of the other bathrooms on the top left there. So the renderings are really a great tool for everybody to see what we're building, what the client's expectations are. This is our third floor project drawings here, plan view. Some other just elevations. This is a cool little nook here that we added into the space for a bed. That's one of the kids' bedrooms, so that's going to be fun for them. And then we have some elevations here of a bathroom, which actually we have the chimney running through the shower, which we're working on now. Yeah, right? Isn't that fun? So yeah, I mean, great vision, and I think I saw them here tonight. Great vision. So really, this was a fun project to work through, figure out the design, and come up with some good conceptuals. So We're actually building this out right now, which we'll see some pictures of here moving forward. But you can see how much these renderings and the drawings really bring the design to life. It really just shows, okay, this is what we're doing. This is our plan moving forward. This is another rendering from that space as well, the stairway. And this, I don't know if you remember that dormer I pointed out earlier, but that's that dormer there that we're really trying to have a focal point in the space. And then we got some stair details there. All right, challenge number 2. We got our vision, we have our plan, and what happens when we get in a demo? We were throwing a bunch of stinking curveballs, right? All happens every time. What's behind the walls? Well, we're peeling them back. We're trying to figure it out. We're in discovery phase, but we're not finding everything in discovery phase in these old homes. So unfortunately, we're still continuing the discovery phase, right? We're still peeling things back. We are demoing. We're trying to figure out if there's any structural issues. We're figuring out if we're still in code compliance. And not every time, but there is some structural issues. All right, so here we are. We got ceilings that we had to fur out. This is our Grampian project. Ceilings that we had to fur out. Messy window that ended up getting filled in. We got headers here, beams here that didn't have correct posts underneath it that we had to get filled in. We have floors that we got to get pulled out. This is the front foyer. That was all pretty much pretty rotten, and I think that was out about 2 inches over 4 foot. So we ended up just pulling it out and reframing. So we're doing some footer work in the basement. We actually moved the basement steps over to the front of the house. We basically took a closet door and created the steps. So we needed some footers there for that. This is at another rotten floor that we had to pull out. So basically that had a little crawl space underneath and just took in some moisture, and over time it just started to fail, so we reframed that as well. So here's our 2 windows. That was the main focus. Their client's vision was, we got to get these 2 windows uncovered. Well, that was an engineering marvel trying to figure that out. And I got some pictures coming up, but we really didn't have that figured out until we basically had it all demoed, got our engineer back in, scratched our heads a lot, tried to get it on paper as much as we could, but really that's a focal point of this project, one of the main focal points. Here we got our designer, Adrian, poking in a wall there, trying to figure out what's going on. So it's fun to kind of look around and say, okay, what happened? What's going on here? There was an old staircase we think that was behind there at one point. We have another failing floor. That's where we got 3 bathrooms going above there in that space. So we had to basically pull that whole floor out and reframe. All right, we're back into our 3rd floor project. We had to reframe basically the whole floor structure, and this is cool. How fun is this? This is the turret. Basically, we pulled out the plaster ceiling, and this is the framing above. Yeah, very cool. Isn't that neat? So, turret area, reframing the floor system. Here we had to reframe the whole floor. Basically, a lot of these attic spaces sound a lot easier to convert than they are. Basically, there's loads we got to think about. There's live loads, and a lot of them aren't rated. They're not built well enough to take on the live load. So unfortunately, on this project, we had to beef up the floor. You see we have all sistered onto the existing floor joists. We get that height. There's a bearing wall here, a bearing wall over here. So we're getting the structure we need for the space. Those are my guys having at it. All right, this is our loft project. This is the master bathroom area. Once again, you're seeing a theme here. We got a lot of floor framing that we got to do. A lot of floor framing. So even if they're good, most of the times they're way out of level, and sometimes it just is easier to just reframe it. Believe it or not, the finish is cleaner. It's a lot easier of an install for us, and it just creates a nicer product overall. So if you can see here, we filled in brick on this brick wall. And you see how it starts little itty bitty and gets really big on that soldier course? Well, there's another crooked building, and that's what we have to do to correct it. So this is their shower. This is pretty cool. We got brick in the shower. I'll show you that a little bit here more too. So outdated systems, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. All right, we're working in old homes. We have outdated systems, knob and tube, all the fun stuff, right? So a lot of cast. We deal with a lot of cast. There's a cast in that one corner there. We try to eliminate cast iron waste lines as much as we can. A little bit of a story. We did a project a few years back. It was a bathroom project in an older home, and the homeowner kept saying, I know I got a roof leak. I know I got a roof leak. I had the roofer out 6 times. He can't fix it. I don't know what's going on. We're working in the house. We're in discovery phase, so we kind of start picking away. Realize the cast iron pipe is failing in the wall. So he thinks he has a roof leak from the first floor down to the first floor, but really we pulled the wall apart, which meant we had to go through the original wallpaper, which was kind of a bummer. But the cast iron pipe was split from the second floor to the first, all the way, the whole thing failed. So we had to pull that out, correct it. We got an old fuse box here. This is kind of a piece of art there. That's a fun old fuse box. We got some new plumbing. This is our Grampian project, new plumbing going in. We got a manifold that we're doing that basically that's all the on and off switches to all the new plumbing fixtures. Third floor project, we're dealing with some HVAC that we got to get rid of and redo. So utilities are a big thing in these projects, and really, I mean, we have great trade partners that we work with, but really there's a lot of work and effort that goes into utilities. This is the farmhouse bathroom project, and you can see all this snake of pipe that we had to do in here. So this is back-to-back bathrooms. We got a shower, we got a tub, we got a sink here, we got a sink there, and then we have a vanity on the other side and all our supply lines and insulation. There again, you see floor framing, more floor framing up top too. So the clients in the Grampian house decided to take all the radiators down, get them all sandblasted and powder coated, which really was a nice look. I mean, old radiators, I don't know how many of you have them, but really, it's a great heat and really warm. And so, I mean, hydronic radiator heat is the way to go. So definitely if you have them, we can recommend who to go to sandblast them. So that's us loading them onto the truck and getting them out and taking them to the sandblaster. All right, here we got another plumbing mess. This is what we deal with a lot. So we have to correct as much of that as we can. Even during discovery phase, we don't really know till we peel back the layers. We pull the floor up, and here we go. We got a mess we got to deal with. Lack of insulation in this space. This is our kitchen, the Georgian kitchen project. Knob and tube we got to deal with. Cast we got to deal with. So it's a lot of issues in these old homes, and especially with the utilities and the systems. And we want to make them functional. We want to make them so the families can enjoy them. So unfortunately, we got to deal with a lot of issues with mechanicals. Some more knob and tube. A little bit of a fix there. We had to have that supply there, so we had to do a little bracket there. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the old plumbers from the 60s that would just hack the joist up and say, yep, looks good. We're good. We'll just keep going. So we do have these plates that we can use for structure to make sure the joist is safe. All right, challenge number 3. What the heck do we do with that? We get a lot of that. What the heck are we going to do with that? So we have our vision, we have our plan. We're dealing with the curveballs, and we're also trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do with it. So problem solving daily. That's what we do. We're in a problem solving business. Really, that's the bulk of what we do. How are we going to get this to work? How are we going to mesh these materials? It's such a huge thing in what we do. Craftsmanship, marrying the old and the new. My guys are very talented, and it's really an art trying to get new materials to mesh with old materials and to make it look good. We are dealing with out of level homes, so there's a lot of effort that goes into the craftsmanship of marrying the old to the new. and then reassuring our clients along the way. We're a guide for our clients. That's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide an exceptional experience for our clients as well as an exceptional project. So we have to reassure them along the way. Yes, we're going to find things. We have to deal with some costs here and there, but really what we're doing is guiding them as best that we can. So basically some in-progress shots, a lot of framing. This is our Grampian project kitchen. This is kitchen framing here. I mean, basically every surface is framed out, even the ceiling. I mean, it's a lot easier just to fur it out. We get flat surfaces. We can fasten cabinetry to flat surfaces. There's actually 3 bathrooms in this space. One here, one back on the left, and then one on the right. So we're framing out for the bathrooms, a little bit more of that. And then some structural. There's a beam that we had to post under, rotten floor that we had to get rid of. So we have some more floor framing, lots of floor framing. There's those 2 windows that we're trying to get uncovered. We got some posts going in. We got a couple beams that we have set. We'll see a little bit more of that right now. So yeah, this looks pretty nuts. This was a doozy. So here are the 2 windows, right? So we're on the first floor. We got a landing here. We're going up to the 2nd floor, another landing. We go in the hallway, and then we have another landing up to the 3rd floor. You can see that here. First floor to the landing, 2nd floor, we come around into the hallway, come up to the 3rd, and then there's another landing, and then we go up to the 3rd floor, or up to the 2nd, and then 3rd floor from there. So really, this was a lot of work to figure this out between our project manager, our engineer, our designer, Adrian. She really did a nice job figuring out the conceptuals on paper, and then we're basically saying, can we make this work? It's a team effort to figure these problems out. Problem solving. That's what we're doing. So some more in process shots here. This is our bathroom project in the farmhouse. You see how high we got those ceilings, right? Those were original ceiling joists. My man Dan Farley here, he's about 6'2", and he wasn't that short, much below the original floor joists or ceiling joists. So we got 2 foot of lift out of that, and I mean, this is a lot of framing. There's a lot of technical framing here. This is really difficult to do. This isn't easy just to go in and throw a bunch of 2x and it works. Basically, it's a lot of right to left thinking. We have our plan. We have to get into space. We got to figure out, okay, this is what we're trying to do. How do we get there? We got to think 3 steps ahead. We got to think backwards a lot of times, and it's really problem solving every day. So you see the height there, and then we got these gorgeous collar ties that we kept exposed in the space. Some more framing there. You can see that's the height. This was the original ceiling height, and then this is our frame there. This is our 3rd floor project. Lots of framing in this space too. Wall framing, a lot of correcting, a lot of string pulling, and trying to get things in line. This whole space got spray foam application, which really was the best way to insulate this 3rd floor space. There wasn't a vented ceiling. We wanted to get as much height as we could, so spray foam was the way to go on this project. And we got the turret framing. That was fun. So I think that's I can't remember what the height on that is. It might be 20 feet, but yeah, it's up there. So we basically had scaffolding set up, and we had a ladder on the scaffolding. We got there, but it was a tricky one. So we're pulling out the steps here. New stringers are getting set. So basically, if we went to the right, we were in the master bedroom. That's how it went before. We went to the left. There was an adjacent bedroom there. We cut in a hallway and basically made a new entrance to the 3rd floor. And we got more framing. All right, challenge number 4, material sourcing. Original details, we're trying to match those as much as we can. The theme is preservationist, right? So we're trying to match these obsolete materials We're trying to get as close as we can. Sometimes we get real close, other times it's a really challenge, and we got to look around for trim. We got to source different ways to match trim. There's ways we can cut knives and custom knives and get trim made. We got to look at alternatives if we need to. If we can't get something really close, we got to try and get the feel of what we're trying to do in the home and try to match it as best as we can. And then upcycling. Nothing more fun than taking a material that was spent most of its life as one thing and turn it into another, and you reuse that in the space. We try to do that a lot. So this is our loft space. This was a really fun project. This is probably one of the highlights of the projects. I really enjoyed this one. We got original fire door. We got, actually, this is an elevator. This is another fire door. This is where their kitchen's getting set. This old concrete threshold that was all busted up, we couldn't get rid of that. These doors here, fun story, they came out of the head-to-toe building. I don't know if you guys are familiar. That's the building right across from the prison. They demoed these, it was about 6 years ago. I knew the guys who were doing the demo, walked the project. He said, hey, you want these Doug fir doors? And I said, nah, I don't think so. Well, let me ask my client. So I texted her, because we were working on the loft project. Texted her, are you interested in these doors? No, I'm not interested. So they go down the road. Eventually, a week later, she said, hey, what happened to those doors? And I said, I don't know, let me text the guy. So I texted them, they were gone. They were up somewhere in Lycoming County. So my buddy took them about an hour away. All right, called the buddy, drove up there on a Saturday morning. They got a little bit of rain on them, had to sweet talk the guy into giving me the doors back. Had to pay him to get the doors back, really. But loaded them back up, took them for another hour ride back down to Williamsport and used them for the project. So, we got to chase things down sometimes. It's not easy. So this is, talking about original details, man. I mean, these knoll posts are gorgeous. Yeah, it's just, wow. So this foyer really is special, really is something special. So some more original details. This is our Grampian house. Love the front door. As we open this staircase up, we really get a better feel of the front door. It's got a little screen on it and a little door on the left-hand side, which is really cool. Then they have these kind of screens for the privacy on the inside of the windows, which I thought were really fun. And then this is our kitchen project here. Just some original details. Built-in corner cabinets. We got all this panel molding here, which actually we widened this doorway out. So we had to match the molding, we had to match the headers, kind of recreate all that. Then we had this little storage cabinet that the client really wanted to save, which we pulled out and were able to use back into the project again. So challenge number 5, we got our plan. We're dealing with the curveballs. We're doing what we can, and we're getting to the installation. And plumb level square, question mark. Usually not, right? I don't know if you guys work in old homes, but or if you work on anything that is an old structure, but it's never really plumb level square. And part of our job as craftsmen is to pretty much recreate and make it look like it's plumb level square. So it's a lot of by eye. Like, we're using the levels, yes, but sometimes level and plumb doesn't really make sense in the space. You got to kind of, okay, let's just cheat that this way, let's cheat that way. And really, that's where a lot of the craftsmanship and artistry is involved in it. This is our Campbell Street project here. So really fun, just kind of playing with some of the design. Once again, what a fun project. I call this performing surgery. On the left-hand side, we had to cut in all the flooring, really get that nice and tight. I'm kind of fussy about things being on same levels, and basically cut in all the tile into the flooring and made it all nice and flush. And this was a little bit of a headache, setting up scaffold in that gorgeous foyer. So got 2 of my guys here. So we were basically, part of our job was to hang this chandelier. Quick story, clients moved up from Texas during the pandemic. Family is of 8, I think. Yeah, 6 kids, so it was 8 total. They found this crystal chandelier. It doesn't look like much now, but crystal chandelier down in Philadelphia. Drove down with a U-Haul, almost got a divorce in the process. Pulled this thing out of an old house in Philadelphia and brought it up to Williamsport to put in their beautiful home. So we basically set it on a winch system. Hit the button, comes down, you can clean it, change light bulbs, hit the button, it goes back up. Yeah, very cool, very stressful. And it's not even dressed yet. So yeah, this is us setting scaffold up. We had to set a medallion up into the top of the ceiling. I don't recommend slinging scaffold around these beautiful details, but we had to do it. This was a closet area that we built for him as well, which you'll see some pictures of here moving forward. Just some more of that scaffolding. Yeah, it doesn't look fun, right? But this is a medallion we had to set, and that basically, that's the winch system up above in the ceiling. So undressed, this is our test run. We'll see a finished product here a little later. So this is our bathroom space again. We're getting ready for tile. A lot of orange. We use a product called Schluter. It's a waterproofing product. We use it in all our showers and all our bathrooms. It's a wonderful product and helps protect the surfaces for years to come. Some of the details we got going on in that space. Some faucets that the client sourced, I think from Morocco, but I could be wrong. An old dresser that we found to build the vanity out of that we had to modify. My guys got really good at making custom thresholds through the years. It's just a necessity. There's always different floor levels. So we leveled that floor up, but we're coming into the old space. There again, marrying the old to new. So we got to make custom thresholds to make those transitions. And it's always a little bit of artistry there and just kind of trying to figure out and head scratching and problem solve there as well. Some more finishes on that space. We used some of the old boards that we pulled out that were on the property for some of our trim work. This was actually kind of cool. Old radiator space that basically we covered with some old wood. This is some of the tile work here. I get real fussy about niches. Really nice fixture. There's some more of the tile work there. Speaking of old to new, got these guys here. I mean, this is a lot of what we get to work with. This gnarly 2x whatever. This is a regular 2x4, which is in most of the colonial houses, and this is what we deal with on a daily basis. So very difficult to work with. Craftsmanship, I can't commend the guys enough for what we go through on a daily. You can always kind of tell with the plaster stains if it was a plastered wall or not. So this gnarly piece of hemlock is what we got to deal with on a daily basis. And going back to the utilities, let me get this guy. This is a radiator. A chunk of a radiator came out of our Grampian project, and the weight on this thing, I mean, I don't know if you guys know who's put in some new floor radiators recently. It does not look like this. This is a chunk of cast iron. This thing heats up. I mean, they don't make them like this anymore. Fortunately, we had to modify this one, but we kept a lot of it in. And then we got. Put that down. Anyone wants to work out later. Now we got some old trim and some new trim. So this is some of the old trim out of the house. It's a header. And this is some of our new trim that we're matching. Color came out pretty nice. Happy with that. And then just some casing here with a back band. Just a nice look there. So we're trying to match as much as we can. Unfortunately, we don't have exact matches all the time, but we get pretty close. My project manager, Tyson, he loves tracking down trim for us, which he's been doing a lot of lately. So just some examples there of some of the different materials and what we have to work with in these spaces. Some more finish work. This really came out nice. So we got marble tops on this old vanity that we reworked. We got some zealage tile, and we got the frameless shower here. You got to see the height in the ceiling. This is our back to our loft project. Some old doors that we found. We got the tile floor going in the master. Heated floor system. Try to do that as much as we can. Love tile heated floor systems. It's a great way to warm up the floors and spaces. It's really not that expensive to add it in, so we try to do them as much as we can, and I try to push clients. I've never had anyone say, I wish we didn't do the radiant floor. So everyone loves it. Just a little bit artistry here, conduit. You know, we got to bend around this little bump out here. I mean, that's a little bit of a feat in itself. And then once again, another custom threshold. All right. So this is the master shower. Pretty fun. This is kind of in the raw. We use a 2-part epoxy paint to paint both of these walls, so it's nice and watertight. And then here we have kind of getting towards some finished tile. And basically the controls are in this wall. We had to surface mount the water line for the shower. This is a concrete countertop we did in the space. We've done a few of these throughout, but this was a fun one. We did a waterfall edge on it. So you can see our formwork here. Basically capped it with a piece of plywood and got the concrete down into that hole. That was a dusty job, but we got it done. It came out really nice. We had a little bit of organicness here with some of the imperfections in the concrete, but I think it really gave it a nice little flair. We got some doors that we found in Steinbacher that's the beverage area, bar serving area. And this is a little bit of that marrying the old to the new. We can't get rid of this, right? That's original. Really neat getting that base molding kind of button into those post collars. And then we have the kitchen getting set there. So flooring, it doesn't look that great, does it? So full transparency, we actually botched the first round of this flooring. yeah, it was a lot of it. So we kind of regrouped. We had to basically scuff the whole thing down again, regroup, figure out what we had to do to make it successful, and we got it the second time. But you see how nice of a glare it is there. Really turned out nice. The original factory floors. This used to be a textiles plant at one point in time. I'll have to have Elaine run the history on it, but it was a textiles plant at one point. And you see how much, man, look at how thirsty this floor was, sucking up that poly. So it really is a drastic difference, right? From sanded to polyurethane. Here we got some sanded pictures as well. Kind of cool, we did these clear story windows throughout all the space. Actually behind here is a game room with a pool table. This is the master bedroom. We restored all the windows as well, pulled all the old glass out, scraped all the frames, brushed all the frames down, sprayed them with black, popped new glass in, so those windows are all restored as well. All right, more floors. So this is our kitchen project in the Georgian house. Original floors, pine floors, we wanted to save those. This is a trade partner of ours who did the work. We didn't do this one. Trade partners of ours, Custom Hardwood by Design. They're a really great outfit. They did the floors on this for us and really did a nice job with it. Yeah, see how much we opened that space? I don't even remember one of the first slides we were doing, how tight that was. I mean, look at how much space we gained for them. There's some more of the floors. Turned out really nice. Island got set there. Finished work on our Grampian project. Now this is kind of about where we're at. We're a little further along than here, but this is there again. Here's these two windows, right? That was the main vision. We had to get those uncovered. We had to get those back into the design. We got our newel set. We got our risers and treads going in. These are going to get stained after they're installed. We've got some flooring going in there. Here's a tile detail on a shower. Got the foyer tile in the front. Remember, we had to pull that floor out and reframe it. And here we got the trim going in, matching the old trim as close as we can. There's just a little bit of action work, a couple of my guys. Now, I don't know how much plaster work you've done, but that's a little bit of an art form of its own. Really patching plaster, getting that organic feel. We try to keep the plaster as much as we can. We try not to tear it all out and do drywall. I mean, we do, but if we can save plaster, if we can kind of have that nice organic feel, we try to do that as much as we can. There again, floor heat. And this is a faucet we sourced, a tub filler for the one room, and it really is a nice look. Some more action shots. Trim, drywall, a phase of that staircase. A couple little corner shelves there that were fun. This is the master shower area. Got that going in, some vintage tile. We got this little corner sink here for a space saving in the one bathroom. We had, once again, 3 bathrooms in a tight space, so it was very tricky trying to figure out what was going where. Wow, check that out. Pretty fun. So if you remember the rendering, this is the rendering. I should have put that in the next slide, right? But the rendering to actual finish work. We did source a radiator. We didn't have a radiator for this room, so we sourced a nice thin one. It came from Europe somewhere, I'm not sure. But really cool wallpaper that the clients found. We got some trim work. Trying to match those trim details as much as we can. Kitchen's going in, nice big hood. We got this nice panel work down here. So trying to just get those details in as much as we can. We exposed a little bit of brick to have some fun in the space. More panel work, and this is a QR code, something that we started doing. Our designer Adrian figured that out for us, and basically, if you're on site, you have any questions, you don't know what's going where. If our trade partners are on site, hey, what's the fixture look like? They basically scan that QR code for each room, and it all comes up, and they know exactly what to do. They can pull the specs for whatever they're roughing in. Our guys know what the finishes are, so it's really a great communication tool to execute the projects. All right, there's that fun shower in the 3rd floor attic space. So herringbone tile going in. We waterproofed the chimney area. We are working on this now, so we won't have complete shots of this, but waterproofed the chimney, herringbone tile going. I think it's a nice look. Pretty cool, right? Not every day you see a chimney running through a shower. So, yeah, very fun, very fun. This is stuff that, it makes us get out of bed in the morning, doing fun projects like this. We could do cookie cutter projects. We can call it a Ford cookie cutter renovation maybe, I don't know. But we like doing the custom work for sure. More finish work on that project. Waterproofing, flooring going in. We got this dormer here that we really wanted to have a stand out for the space, and we were able to capture some of the old wood details. We kept some of those collar ties for a detail there as well. Challenge number 6, schedule. So schedules are always fun, right? All these big projects, all this work we're doing, we really got to communicate with our client as much as we can. We got to communicate with our team as much as we can. We got to communicate with our trade partners. We got to communicate with the vendors. We got to make sure everybody is in alignment. We got to take critical path into consideration. These are not easy projects to execute. They're difficult. They require a lot of effort. They require a lot of communication with multiple people. So we really try to push that and try to do the best we can every day, solving problems, working through issues, and try to communicate to get to that execution so we can keep on somewhat of a schedule. Added scope. We run into the curveballs, right? All of a sudden we got to fix something. If that adds a week to the schedule, we got to kind of figure that out and say, okay, where are we at? Where are we trying to get to? What added scope do we have? Work through those issues and try to keep a little bit of a schedule. All right, look at this. This is kind of fun. The emotional journey of a home remodel. So, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you can kind of see, You know, you're up and down. I love this. It's snowing again. Do we really have to grill in the snow? That's for a kitchen project. Dust Valley. No one likes being in Dust Valley. I can't eat at that restaurant again. So really just highlighting. This is a friend of mine who put this together. He's out of Minnesota. We're really just highlighting the emotional journey, which is these projects. Where there's so many emotions involved in these projects. There's financial. We're in your space. We're knocking on the door when you're getting coffee in the morning, trying to get the kids out to school. I mean, we're in your space. We got to be as respectful as we can. We have to take the clients and the homeowners and the family into consideration as much as we can. And by the end of it, as good as our crew is, you're ready for us to get out of there. And we're ready to get out too, believe it or not. So, you know, really, it's a journey, and we're all on it, and we try to guide our clients as best we can through it. We always try to get floating in the clouds happy, up there all the way on the top. So, challenge number 7, project completion. The last 5% seems to always be the most difficult. We have every tool that we own on the project. We're touching up every surface, not every surface, but we got paint, we got trim, we got fixtures that we're installing. It just seems like that last 5% is really where we have to push to get over the finish line. So it's a difficult part of the process for us, but we push and try to get that over as best as we can. There again, communicating schedule and client expectations. So the wins. All right, we're almost there. So some finished shots. This is our, it came out nice, right? That's our Georgian kitchen. Their whole vision was to open the space up. I don't know if you remember, but it was super cramped. They had a bathroom in this space. I didn't show pictures of it, but we had a hallway. There was a closet here from the hallway that we actually made into a bathroom. Stole the closet, made the bathroom there, moved it. Really came out excellent. Here's that piece that we pulled out and had to get back in. That was very important to the client. So yeah, it really came out nice. Very functional for a busy family. Floors look gorgeous. I mean, how can you beat that? These old pine floors. Very cool. There's that bathroom. That was a closet. So material sourcing, a nice compact, modern looking sink really was what could help us get that space completed. This beadboard was actually salvaged from a ceiling that we pulled out in the house. So we were able to resalvage that, paint that up real nice. This door here, that was sitting in their attic. We decided to get that swinging again. It's got pivot hinges, hard to see down there, but that's a swinging door going into their basement space. So we were able to put that back in for some more original finishes. Yeah, and you can see how it flows into their dining room space. I mean, how functional is that for a busy family? I mean, that's compared to what they have. I mean, it's night and day. Clients were super thrilled with it, and we were thrilled to produce it for them. Here's the loft space. Man, this came out cool, right? This table, we didn't build it. I wish we did. But anyway, this table is built from some of the floor that they pulled out. The floor, there were beams basically that were 6 feet apart. The floor was a 4-inch spline material. So you can see here, it wasn't tongue and groove, but there was a spline that ran through, and that was basically the flooring structure underneath the original floor. Like I said, this was a textiles plant at one time. You can see this really cool custom-made fireplace that we did. One of my guys is a part-time steel worker in his, so we hired him. He wasn't with us at the time. We hired him as a subcontractor to put this together, and I think he even drug us into his shop for a few days there, trying to help him get that put together. And then we had the little floating concrete top on there. It was pretty fun. Old tub that we refinished, put in the master bathroom. Those doors we built in shop. I wouldn't do that again, I don't think. But there were 5 sets of doors that we made. Yeah, some more of that space. Really came out cool. It was a fun project. Kitchen area, another custom hood. We took some of that flooring material, made some floating shelves out of it. This was a secondary bathroom, just with some classical finishes. And here's our bathroom project. Farmhouse bathroom project, came out really nice. I'm happy with it. Clients were thrilled. This was a Venetian plaster that the client and her mom actually did. Her mom was a faux painting expert, so they did that for themselves there, and I think the vanity came out nice, topped it with some marble. Got the herringbone distressed tile. This little fixture here, wall-mounted fixture, and a little bit of a soaking sink. That's in the secondary bathroom. And then the master shower, which came out real nice. The zealage tile, handmade tiles, and yeah, nice look. Nice, crisp and clean. We got these really cool radiator covers that we made as well. Nice little detail there. And we got we got beams running through the shower. Very cool. Here's the soaker tub. Yeah, right? Came out nice. Pretty neat. So, I'm sorry, am I standing anywhere? So we got basically we hung the light. We hung this secondary light, which you'd think hanging lights are easy, but they're really not. Not in old spaces. We got to mess with the wiring. There's usually not a box. We got to get a box set in, and the wiring's all janky. So hanging lights in old spaces are usually more of a challenge than what you would think. So yeah, it really came out cool. Really fun project for the client. There it is, right? You want to talk about stressful. That was on the ground, and we had to hoist it up, and nobody really knew how much that thing weighed. But we had to source a winch system for it and hope to God that it didn't hit the ground. So yeah, we basically, the client stressed it. I think they had a little party and hung all the crystal on it. Really is gorgeous, just a great addition to the house. Very cool. And they were on the tour a couple years ago. I don't know if...
It's on Campbell Street.
Yes, Campbell Street. So I don't know if anyone got to see this beautiful foyer with the new crystal chandelier, but in all its glory. All right, same house. Basically, here again, problem solving. They wanted a big master closet. We couldn't figure out where to get one. There wasn't enough space in any of the rooms. And so in the master bedroom, we basically made this faux wall and then built the closet behind it. It was a nice look. It worked out really well. Wallpaper, did a couple sconces on the side. And this is... We weren't involved in the painting of the home, but just wanted to highlight it. I think it really came out really nice. Clients had it painted this past year, and this will be getting a lot of attention, I know. So hopefully maybe next year it'll be on the tour, we'll see. But very beautiful house, beautiful. They're doing a great job with the new windows. So that's it. That's the adventure of remodeling in an old home. Thank you. Thank you.
And do you have any questions from the audience?
Yes. So any questions? We got a mic here. Yes, sir.
The textile reno, where was that done? What time was that?
That's Williamsport. That's Railway Street, right across from Williamsport Mirror and Glass, above Suscon Plastics.
Okay.
I don't know if you know, right behind the Turkey Hill. Yeah, it's a neat building. Mary, you working the mic here?
I'm the mic runner.
Oh, these mics tonight, right?
I know.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay. Yep, we're good. Okay. Raise your hand if you got a question. I'll bring the mic to you.
In the older homes, you run into much hemlock.
Oh yeah. I mean that's what this is. And that was one of the main trees back in the day.
Do you find hemlock that's been, they've used square cut nails in them?
Got some right here, yes sir. Toenailed through there. Yeah, that was their main way of framing back in the day. So yes, we run into them a lot. So and then these nails here held the lath on that they plastered over. So a lot of history in these old.
Do you ever find hemlock being used outside?
You know, not really. There's a lot of oak that they use outside. I don't know if, Don, you got any insight there, but a lot of oak on the exteriors. Don't see a whole lot of hemlock from what I've run into. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, I think you've answered all the questions.
Oh, geez,
Oh, we
sorry.
got
That was a
one
lot. There's a lot to go through, really. I mean, I went through hundreds of pictures. It was crazy.
Hey, so you do this, right, if you love old homes, right?
Yes, sir.
Because if you're going to buy a home, you can either buy an old one and put a lot of money into it, or buy a new one and put a lot of money into it.
Yes, yes.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'd love people to buy more old homes and put a lot of money into them and hire us to do it. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to find the charm you'd find in old homes, in newer homes. It's just a different animal, really. So, I mean, I highly suggest as much preservation. I mean, that's why we're all here, right? We're trying to preserve these old buildings and structures and bring them back to their glory and to modernize them for today's family. So yes, by all means, keep buying old homes.
We were walking on 4th Street and we were curious, do you think people just spent more money on architecture back in the day, or were they born romantics, or
Well,
too much money?
yeah, well, I mean, there were a lot of millionaires in Williamsport with the lumber boom, so I'm very curious, and I don't know if anyone did any analytics on this, but what the cost comparison would be to what it would cost back then to build one of these gorgeous old homes to what it would cost now. Really curious if anyone went through that comparison at all, but yeah, I mean, I think they just had a lot of money to spend and dumped them into these grand old homes, and well, they weren't old then, but dumped them into these homes, and here we are.
There was so much lumber
Yeah,
available.
right. And there were lumber mills. I mean, once they started figuring out how to churn out moldings, that's why Victorian's very molding heavy.
Do you run into a lot of problems with the mortar on the outside?
Yeah, we do.
And do you do that yourself, or because I noticed in a lot of the older homes, a lot of the mortar joints are disappearing.
Yes, I have a couple of trade partners that I work with for the masonry work. So we basically bring them into our projects. My team personally isn't doing the more, but yes, it's part of our project overall if we have to pay attention to any masonry work, yes.
Is there any special mortar you have to use on the older brick, or does it matter?
I think that's a little bit of an art form there too, trying to match mortars, coloring. I'm not exactly sure of the recipe, but yes, there's a whole road you got to go down there to try and match old mortars, and it's a little bit of a process.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Are your children interested in what you do?
They're right there. Why don't we ask them? Yeah, I mean, I think when they look up from the device, maybe they're interested. So hopefully, yeah. I mean, they help me every now and then and get into it. So hopefully they do a little more. We'll see.
On from the time you have initial contact with this prospective client, what do you say is about the average time it takes for you to, from initial communication to start going into conceptual design till before you start swinging hammer?
Sure. It depends on the project, but typically our planning could be up to 6 months. It's a process. It's a long process. It's a lot of back and forth. And to be honest with you, some of that is relying on the client. Are they good at decision making? Are they getting back to us through emails and phone calls quickly? So it's kind of like, do you want to be on the bullet train or do you want to be on the scenic route when it comes to project development? So, but typically, depending on the size of the project, obviously bigger projects are going to take longer to plan out. A bathroom project we can get through maybe a month or two, couple months, 2-3 months. But bigger projects are going to be at least 6 months. Yeah, and if we got to get a lot of engineering, it could be longer. All right. Oh, we got more.
What was it that sparked your interest as far as for your profession? Were your parents involved in restoration?
My parents weren't. What sparked my interest? That's a great question. I think just kind of just building stuff and working and I really enjoyed putting something together and standing back and looking at it and say, man, we just built that. So I think that's what kind of led me into trades. I did some drafting work for a while in the interim, and I didn't really like being behind a desk too much, even though that's what I do more so now than anything. But yeah, I think it was just really building things, creating things, being creative in the spaces. That was really fun. Challenging myself. Can I produce this thing? Can I have this vision in my head? Can I bring it to fruition? So yeah, that's a lot of it. All right.
Okay. Oh, got another one. Okay. I'll put my steps in today.
That was actually, I didn't know how we do on time. I did pretty good.
Did you ever find any unusual objects in the walls when you took them apart?
Oh yeah, yes ma'am. That's fun. A lot of times, and we try to do this too. Like we'll tag things and put it behind a wall, and 100 years from now, someone will find it. You know, we date things. I used to do that all the time. But yeah, we'll find bottles and find a lot of marbles. That's a big one. Back they used to throw marbles. A lot of times under the radiators, we'll find marbles. Seeing how the old carpenters used to label their parts and pieces is really cool. Because we still do that now. We'll get a cut list together, we'll label our parts, we'll walk it to where we're installing that. Well, they used to do it back then too. So seeing how they labeled it, I mean, it's all cursive, you can barely read it. So that's fun. And that's all kind of a fun part of, that's to your point, sir, I mean, what sparked my interest, I mean, kind of seeing that and seeing how they used to do it back in the day and thinking about the guy, you know, 70 to 100 years ago who was working at the same spot I'm working at now. And, you know, what'd they eat for lunch and what was their life like? Things like that.
And then would you say that that was old world craftsmanship, or was that homegrown, or a mixture? Would you get into that?
As far as
the Victorian, you know, heritage that has been developed and built in this area?
Oh, geez, that's a tough one. I'm not quite a historian, but I mean, it's all old world craftsmanship. I mean, they're not building houses like they used to. So,
They renovated them in the 1950s.
yeah.
Except when they cut them up in 1950.
Oh yeah, no, well, I mean, it depends. I mean, there were, even 50, 80 years ago, there were good craftsmen and there were guys that were just cutting out floor joists and putting a waste pipe in and not really worrying about what the repercussions of it is. So I think you get a little bit of both, yeah, because the one project, the Grampian project, that was cut up pretty good. So we had to go in and correct a lot of things.
Didn't you take an apartment with 3 apartments and turn it into a single family?
Yes. Yeah, there's, well, I don't know if there was 3. I know there was 2 apartments, but yeah, turn it back into a single family. And in that area, I think the use is all single family, so you're technically not allowed to have apartments in that area. So yeah, it's single family homes only.
You mentioned knob and tube wiring. How difficult is it to convert houses to?
Oh, it's a pain. It's really tricky. The way knob and tube wiring runs, they got circuits branching off of circuits, So new wiring, it's kind of consolidated into one area. You'll have a breaker for your bathroom or whatever for your kitchen, a couple breakers for those spaces. But with knob and tube, you could have one circuit that's on this side of the house, and all of a sudden you flip that off and, oh, the light on the other side of the house isn't working. So it's very difficult. It's a lot of a lot of digging, a lot of kind of tracing back. It takes a lot of time to peel back the layers. Where's this going? Where's that going? It's tough to get to it all too. Sometimes you just got to say, hey, we're getting as much as we can. It's a safe system. The biggest thing with knob and tube is today's electronics really draw a lot of amperage, so it overloads the circuits. So you really want to make sure that any circuits that you do leave, a lot of times it's like attic lights where there's only a couple things, there's some basement lights, you see that a lot. So just got to be careful of the system. It's a pain to really get all of the knob and tube. All right. Yes, sir.
How did you come up with such an awesome presentation?
Well, I had help from my my office manager / wife. Thank you for your question. That's my son, by the way. Thank you.